Do Box Shape Family, it's your boy Box Shape P. We back again with another one. Today really ain't too much different. I'm gonna do a little quick overview. You know, of course I got the car running, but you also know that it's a few kinks you always got to work out. Your vehicle's always gonna be some kinks you gotta work out. So we're gonna go over the few kinks that I've noticed since the car's been running. So starting here, the first thing I noticed was that it was kind of backfiring. So we figured that out. We got the coils switched around. I had them in the wrong firing order. My boy told me that, so I switched them around. That was the first thing. Another thing I noticed was the sensor back here behind the motor, which is right here. Let me back up a little bit. That sensor right there that you see plugged in, I had the wrong one, so I got the right one now. As you can see, this was the harness I had on it. That's why I needed the harness, because I had the wrong damn sensor. So this was not the correct sensor, you know? So that was another thing that was making a problem. Another thing is, which I still might need to move it around, is the hose that goes from my brake booster into the intake, which is right there. Let's see, right there. See, it's kind of pinched. So I'm gonna have to get back up in there and push it back as much as I can. It's kind of pinched. That was kind of stopping the airflow. And then another thing I noticed too was, you know, of course, you know you're gonna check for leaks once you get everything put on, because I do all this stuff on the engine stand. So once you get it running, you want to start checking for leaks. See, you can get one out of the paint drawer, their desk, but I'm checking for leaks. So nothing was leaking initially, but then I noticed it started leaking from here. So I know I didn't have it tight. So when I went to tighten, I ended up breaking it. So I had to order a new one. So this is a brand new one. And if you notice the one I ordered, the new one, I got the vent, the air, you know, the bleeding hose on there. So that bleeding hose, I got to run from there to the top vent on the radiator. So that's just to bleed the system by itself while the car is running. That helps bleed it out. If you got them steam lines, it helps bleed your system or whatever. So that's why I went on with it. Instead of doing a block off, I just put it on there. So, but I noticed that was leaking. And then when I got down a little further, I noticed that my line right here where I got see that little hose that loops around? That's the heater core bypass hose. I did that because I'm not running heat right now. So I did that and I noticed this one was leaking. So I tightened that up. That's good to go. And then I also noticed that I had a small drip of power steering fluid under here. So once I got in here and did an inspection, I realized it was coming from the return line, which was here. It was coming out of here from around the fitting. So I noticed it was loose when I wiggled it, but this was all the way tight. So I pulled it out, and upon further inspection, I realized that I had the wrong end on there. So this is the flare end fitting. That was not the right, the screw was the right size, but the flare end was not the right size. So what I ended up doing was, one in my drawer, I had another one. I actually had to correct one in the drawer over there by chance. So I put that one in and it was tight. So if you see this moving, so you know it's gonna have a leak. So you see it's not moving no more. So it ended up working. I wish I could have found a shorter high pressure line, but this is the only one I could find. This is actually the same exact one I used for my two-door, but this is the only one I could find, you know, that fit this application. But I wish I could have found a short one, you know, so that I could just put it a little cleaner, shorter, but I mean, it's still decent to go, but it's working. So the power steering is working just fine. Now, next thing I noticed was my headers. Header was perfect on this side. It cleared. Everything was clear. They both cleared. You know, they both was on if you noticed. But on this side, if y'all remember me telling y'all, and then y'all say I painted this and put it back on here too for now, since I couldn't find a new one. I just went on and put it back on there. But anyway, I had the headers on, and once I got under the car, I realized that the header was hidden right up against there. It wasn't hidden, but once I got my exhaust done, it wasn't gonna be able to go all the way flush because I got this motor set all the way forward. You know, on this bracket here, you see they got two different settings. They got one where you can sit the motor farther back, and they got one where you can sit the motor further forward. Well, they got three settings on here. I got it all the way to the front setting, so the motor is pushed all the way up. And I did that on purpose so I can have room back here when I'm working, because I remember last time I was back here working, I was having a lot of trouble getting, getting back there. So I decided to put the motor in the forward position so I can get back there and work. So by that being done, my header was hidden, like it wasn't hidden, but it was blocked off from something down there to where when I get my exhaust done, it wasn't gonna be showing. It was like half of it showing. So out of the circle, like this, it was like half of the circle showing. So I'm like, okay, that's not gonna work. I could have bent some pipes and did some other shit. I'm like, nah, I can't move my motor again. I'm not gonna take the motor back out and move it back forward. That's just too much work. So what I decided to do, I just took them off. I actually sold them already. Oh, that's why my stuff is leaking. It's cracked. Duh. Okay. I'm thinking, I'm like, I know I'm pouring it in there properly. Why is it still leaking? That's because it's a damn crack in there. Thank you, I caught that. But long story short though, but that's what it was doing. So it was gonna hit right there. So what I did, I just went on and ordered me some long tube headers. I pulled those off, posted them, and they were sold within an hour or so. That was good news. I got those up out of here, so they sold, and I ordered some long tube headers, so those should be here in the next few days. But other than that, everything else was pretty much on point. Oh, and then I noticed the belt was riding up here, which this is simple. This the same thing. This the same problem I had on the last one. I just got to put a washer here, move the AC compressor over a little bit, and the belt will ride on there like it's supposed to. But excuse me. Other than that, like I said, the only other issue I seen was I was changing the fluids out, right? I was taking the dipstick out of the I was taking the dipstick out of the transmission, and I noticed that it electrocuted me, like it had like a little shock to it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So as I'm pulling, I'm studying mess with it. I pull it back, I check them, and make sure there ain't no wires touching or nothing. You know, I'm just making sure I'm not tripping. So then I come to realize, I get on this side and I say, oh damn, I forgot to put a ground strap on the transmission. You know what I'm saying? Which is supposed to go on this side right here, where I missed it. I got that done, but I noticed that I didn't have a ground wire on here. So if you know, for those of you who don't know, when you're doing a motor, you always need 2 grounds at least on there. You need one from the chassis to the block of the motor, and then you need one from the block of the motor, which I got one from the head. You see that one right there? This right here. This is a ground, so I got that one grounded, but I need another ground coming from the block to the frame. I got one from the chassis to the heads, but I need one from the block to the frame, so that's the one I forgot to ground. So by me not grounding that one, that left current going through the motor, and when you don't have a ground, your stuff grounded out properly or a good ground, your motor is left searching for a good ground, so it's just going all through the motor, it's going through the motion. So the whole electrical system was just like shocking me, you know what I mean? So it was, you know, static going through here, it's a little wire going, you know, it's just something I learned this time, not doing my ground. But long story short, that was the problem. So I went on and ordered a new ground wire. That'll be here. I ordered my new headers. That'll be here. I actually ordered this too. And I ordered this, that came on the last video. Then I ordered that sensor. Those all came yesterday. So I'm just waiting on my headers to get here now and my ground strap, and that should be good. That's gonna make it run even better too. But it's still running good. Like I said, it's running good. It was just that sensor. But you know, since I got a cam in here, of course, the motor needs to be tuned. Now, my stock setup, I had way less work. I just plugged it up and it ran beautiful as soon as I started. I did have to go get a base tune on it so I can, you know, operate, but it did run, you know, real smooth when I first got it. Now, this car is cranking right up now on the dime. Fuel system is ran good. Everything is wired up good. There's no issues with the wiring or nothing, but like I said, when you're doing a car, you're gonna definitely have to troubleshoot, figure this, that, and the third out. So I, you know, check for leaks, all that good stuff. So that's all I was doing. So basically, where I'm at with it right now is I'm basically just you know, just eliminating a bunch of stuff. So once I run it and all that stuff, I still got to add more fluid. That's why I had the dipstick out. I still got to add the rest of the fluid. I think I got to add another quart or 2 of oil, and then maybe a few more quarts. I'm just adding a quart at a time just till the transmission is up to level, and then I'm gonna run this car. So once I actually get everything situated and I get them headers on there, I'm gonna actually drive it to the exhaust shop. The exhaust shop not too far from here. So once I get everything situated on there, I'm gonna go ahead and drive it to the exhaust shop. But other than that, everything else is good to go. It was a success. It's running, it's nice and healthy, it's breathing, ain't blowing no smoke, nothing. It's running real good. So that's a good thing, you know what I mean? And then after that, I'm gonna, of course, come back later down the line. I'm gonna shorten all these wires out like I always do. Shorten all them, cut them, zip tie them. You know how I'm gonna do it. Make them look real nice and neat. I just want to make sure everything is up to par before I do any snipping and cutting and stuff. And I'm gonna zip tie, so I'm gonna make it look real nice and neat under here though. So like I said, I don't know if y'all remember, I cut a big piece of the harness out already. I only had this left, this part and that part sitting up there. This part is emission. I can cut this half off. This half I can keep, like I said, because this goes to the AC compressor. So, and then the rest of this stuff like this here, all this stuff controls the heat. So I can't cut that out. I'm just gonna zip tie it and make it look real clean as I can. But I got this wire here because I still need to run a 12-volt ignition wire, as you can see right there. See that one wire coming off of there? Then you see the other part that's an empty terminal? I'm gonna plug this on there in order to, and I'm gonna run it to a 12-volt ignition wire. So that's gonna keep the transmission cool. When the transmission heats up, it'll turn on at like, I think 200 degrees or 180, and then it'll take it back down. So that's what that's for there. But other than that, I'm not gonna mess with too much more stuff. And the only other thing I do have in my line of business, I'm gonna remove some of these power wires. I have the wires from the harness. The you know, this harness that I got on here, I'm gonna take the standalone harness. I'm gonna take 2 of those wires off, which is these 2 red ones here, and I'm gonna put them on the back of the alternator. That way it won't be so many wires here. I don't want to clutter. The less wires down there, the better, because it does get really hot down there. But other than that, like I said, everything else, come on, baby. Bring your bike in. But other than that, everything else is running pretty good. I still got to put the rest of the door panel on. I was in here now, as y'all can see, I pulled the glove box out for now so I can get that computer from up under my rug. If I'd have knew better, I would have mounted it up a little higher than I did, because it's kind of like right under the rug. But once we stomp on this a little bit, it's gonna go down a little bit, so it's gonna still look feasible. You know what I mean? Because you really can't tell now. But this is what I did. I put the computer in the glove box for now. The same thing I did the 2-door. The computer's in the glove box for now. So I try to put the bracket in there, which is right there. I'm gonna find a way to mount that up in there real neat. I'm just gonna sit in there real neat. Probably drill another hole and just have it sit in there real neat where it won't move. But right now, I got it crammed in there so it's not going nowhere. And on another note, y'all see the console is gone. I sold the console, and the headers are already sold, y'all. So those are gone, the headers and the console. I shipped them out this morning. I wish I'd have knew what I knew when I sold that console, because the buyer, I had him give me an extra $75 for shipping. But come to find out, the damn shipping came out to $176. So I had to go in my pocket and spend $100 to ship it for him. But I wasn't tripping. I already sold it. Go back on my word and ask me, hey, I need more money. So I just went on and bit the bullet and did what I needed to do. But we're not gonna worry about it. We're gonna keep it moving. But that's what I'm on right now, y'all. I'm just waiting on parts. So to keep me busy this week while I'm not doing nothing else, while I wait on them few other parts to come running wise, I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling, like putting the rest of the door panels and stuff on. See, I got most of them on. I got 2 of them on. Driver side, on the passenger side. I just gotta get the driver side done, and then we'll be good. Get the driver side pieces up. But other than that, like I said, everything else is looking good so far, man. Looking real good. If you're here watching this video, man, do me a favor and go ahead and smash that subscribe button if you ain't subscribed already. And if you are subscribed, hit the like button. If you ain't subscribed, hit that like button for me, man. Y'all know it helped my video go through the algorithm, man. So do that for your boy. But other than that, like I said, we still working on some things, getting it together. This trunk will be getting done too eventually. I'm just working on getting it running right now. Like I said, it's already running. So once I get the exhaust, it's gonna be a lot more quiet. So it'll be much easier to, tune. Because no tuner gonna want to touch this car with the exhaust not being done. Most tuners won't touch a car with that need exhaust. So that's the next line of business. Once the headers get here this week, as soon as they get here, if they get here early enough, I'm gonna throw them on. If not, the day after I throw them on, I'm gonna take it straight to the exhaust shop and we're gonna knock that exhaust out ASAP. I don't know if I'm gonna do new mufflers or I'm gonna just reuse what I got over there, which is my Flowmasters. They some Super 40 series Flowmasters. They sounded real good, so might just chop them off and reuse those or figure something else out. But I do have 3-inch collectors, so I'm doing 3-inch piping on this thing again. I don't know if I want to dump them again or I want to just run them out the back. Of course, not letting the exhaust show. I just want to run them all the way to the back and then stop like on the angle before they get out. I don't know, but I definitely know I don't like the exhaust. I don't like the exhaust tip look. You know what I mean? But that's other than that, we pretty much good. I can stick the key in and fire this thing up right now if I really want to, but we're not gonna do that right now. We're gonna wait till we get our headers and we go from there. We did too much talking, but I just had to inform you on what's going on. Of course, anytime you do a motor, anything custom, the more you do, the more you do. If that makes sense, the more you do, the more you gotta do. So it's more work on this one than it was on the last one, but it's gonna be well worth it because it's gonna have way more power and it's gonna run more aggressively. But I got a little 5-year-old keep calling my name. So let me tend to my baby and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace out.